All right, so today we're going deep on something a little different.
Yeah.
It's got predictions for AI in 2025 from 5 experts, and we're going to unpack all that.
Sounds good.
We've got Pascal Bornet, he's the AI strategist, and then Ben Torben-Nielsen, he does a lot with machine learning.
Okay.
Eduardo Ordax, veteran in big data and AI. Ahmed Banafa, a tech expert and professor, and Julie McCoy, entrepreneur and AI consultant. So quite the range.
Yeah, definitely a lot of different perspectives there.
It seems like across the board, though, they're all pointing to AI agents being massive in 2025.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's talking about AI agents.
Now, I know AI, that gets thrown around all the time.
Yeah.
But for someone who maybe hasn't heard this term, what are these agents? What can they do?
They're like programs, but way more sophisticated than what we're used to.
Okay.
They can make decisions, take actions all on their own, almost like having a personal assistant, but one that's actually like thinking for itself, learning as it goes.
Yeah. Not just scheduling my meetings, but
Yeah.
maybe like participating in them, making judgments, calls based on what's happening.
Exactly. And Ben Torben-Nielsen, he talks about these agents getting even more powerful when you combine them with smaller language models. It's like giving them a toolkit to use. They can integrate with workflows, use different tools. He uses the example of an AI managing your investments, but it's not just following a set of rules.
Right.
It's like actually reading market reports, analyzing trends, and then making adjustments in real time. Like it's thinking on its feet.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So no wonder Eduardo Ordax is predicting that AI agents could like double or triple our productivity
Yeah.
compared to what we're seeing even with the large language models now.
Yeah. He thinks those gains are going to be massive. And of course, that impacts businesses hugely.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Ahmed Banafa actually predicts companies are going to be scrambling to integrate what he calls generative AI
Yeah.
into all their software.
Mhm.
So that's content creation, customer interactions, workflows, like you were saying.
Everything's getting streamlined, automated.
So if companies are using AI to do the work that used to take, several employees, what happens to all those jobs? Is everyone going to be out of work?
That's a big question, right? And Julia McCoy, she actually helps companies implement AI.
Okay.
And she paints a picture of like companies making over $100 million, but they only have a handful of employees.
Wow.
Because AI is doing so much of the heavy lifting. So yes, some jobs are definitely going to be replaced, but others, they're going to have to adapt.
Yeah, so like Ben Torben-Nielsen's warning about businesses going extinct if they ignore AI, that makes a lot of sense.
He compares it to the early days of the internet. The companies that didn't get on board with e-commerce, they just got left behind.
They got left in the dust.
Yeah, and just like back then, building a website, setting up your online store, all that had costs.
Right.
Ben Torben-Nielsen, he's predicting that operating AI is going to get a lot more expensive in 2025.
That makes sense to me. I mean, this level of technology, it requires a lot of power, data. Somebody's got to pay for that.
Right, but he's talking about a significant increase.
So why is that? What's driving that increase?
Well, he says the most advanced AI models, those are going to come with a premium price tag. Like, think of it as a really, really exclusive software subscription. But for AI, OpenAI, they're already experimenting with this kind of pricing.
Okay.
And a lot of others will probably follow suit.
So it's not just the upfront cost. Companies need to think about the upkeep.
Yeah, the ongoing costs.
It's
Exactly.
keeping these systems running.
And he says those costs are tied to how much those models are actually being used. So as more companies get on board with AI, start using these capabilities, the demand goes up, leads to what he calls higher token usage. Think of tokens as kind of like the building blocks of language that the AI uses to process, generate text.
So even if the price per token goes down, just the sheer volume could lead to some eye-popping bills for companies.
Yeah. Right, if they're not careful.
So budgeting for AI, that's going to be key in 2025.
Absolutely. And, that's just the financial side of things.
Right.
What's really interesting is how AI is predicted to move beyond just the digital world, our computers and phones.
Into the physical world. That's where the robots come in, right?
Yes. Pascal Bornet, he predicts AI is going to move into mobile robots.
Okay.
And not just robots like we see in factories, but robots that we interact with in everyday life.
Future robots just integrated into our world. Not for one specific task, but assisting us in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah, and Bornet, he envisions these robots tackling some really complex challenges. Everything from global logistics, supply chains, to personal accessibility assistance. And then Ahmed Banafa, he adds to that by talking about AI systems becoming really sophisticated at processing different types of data.
Okay.
Not just text, but images, audio, video.
So it's becoming multisensory, like it can see, hear, understand.
Right, and that deeper understanding leads to more natural interactions. Banafa, he thinks this is going to completely revolutionize things like education, healthcare, even entertainment.
Wow. So imagine a robot tutor, right?
Mm.
It can personalize your learning based on not just what you're saying, but your facial expressions, tone of voice.
Exactly. Or a robot doctor analyzing medical images, making diagnoses.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But with this level of advancement comes, the need to talk about responsible development.
Right, the ethics of it all.
Regulations, potentially.
And Ahmed Banafa, he predicts that the global regulations surrounding AI, those are going to get stricter in 2025.
That makes sense to me. As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, we have to make sure it's being used responsibly.
For sure. And he points to transparency, ethical use, accountability.
So, like, companies being clear about how their AI works, making sure it's being used fairly, and that there are ways to, address any issues that come up.
Exactly. Addressing potential biases, protecting data privacy, preventing misuse.
Right. It's finding that balance between innovation and making sure AI benefits everyone.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot. And speaking of the business side of AI, Eduardo Ordax has some predictions about how the AI landscape itself might be changing.
Okay. Interesting. What's he saying?
He thinks that generative AI providers, the companies that actually make and develop these large language models, they might need to change their business models to stay competitive.
Why is that? Is it because of those rising costs we talked about?
It's definitely a factor. Ordax, he points out that training and running these models takes massive investment, like expertise, data collection, computing power.
It's like an arms race to build the most powerful AI, and that comes with a price tag.
Exactly. So to actually be profitable, he predicts that a lot of AI labs are going to have to switch from just being providers of these models to offering more complete software solutions directly to users. So instead of just creating the engine, they're going to be creating the whole car, so to speak.
Got it. So instead of selling the engine, they sell the entire car.
Interesting.
And he thinks this could lead to market consolidation.
Right.
We might end up with just a few major AI companies dominating the field.
Similar to how we have those like tech giants dominating the internet today.
Right, exactly. So it's not just about how AI will be used.
Yeah.
It's about who controls it, how the whole industry evolves.
It's a lot to think about. This deep dive has been really insightful. We've gone from understanding what AI agents are to their impact on businesses, the costs, the future of robots, the need for regulation. We even touched on how the whole AI industry might change.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. But before we wrap up this part, there's a question I keep coming back to.
Okay, what's that?
We've talked a lot about how AI will change businesses, society at large. But what about individuals? Like, what about us?
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture, but ultimately it's individuals who are going to experience these changes.
Right. First, so considering the potential for both good and bad, how should individuals be preparing for this future?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is, and it's something we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. We'll get into some concrete steps people can take to not just survive, but thrive in this AI-driven world.
It is a lot to think about. AI is not just something out of the movies anymore. It's really becoming part of our lives. So how can people get ready for this future with AI playing such a big role?
Well, one thing that's going to be crucial is lifelong learning.
Yeah.
The skills that are hot today, those might be obsolete tomorrow as AI takes on more tasks. So you've got to be constantly updating your knowledge, your skill set.
So it's not just learning a specific software or tool. It's more like a mindset of always learning, always adapting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being curious, seeking out new information, and being willing to, kind of step outside your comfort zone to pick up new skills. And it's not just the technical stuff either, and soft skills too, like critical thinking, problem solving, communication.
Those human skills, right.
Yeah, because those are going to be even more valuable as AI handles more of the routine tasks.
Right. AI can process information, do those repetitive things, but it's not quite there yet with, creativity, empathy, understanding complex emotions.
Right. Those are the areas where humans are still way ahead.
So we've got to double down on those uniquely human skills if we want to thrive in this world.
Absolutely. Another important step is just being aware of how AI is already being used, in your life and the world around you.
So we're talking everything from like recommendations we see online, the algorithms that shape our social media, to AI tools we might be using at work.
Yeah. The more you understand these systems, how they work, the better you'll be able to, navigate them, make informed decisions.
And spot any potential problems too, right?
Right.
Like biases, ethical concerns.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a shared responsibility. We need policymakers, businesses, individuals all working together to make sure AI is used ethically.
Right, for the benefit of everybody.
Yeah.
So it's not about being afraid of AI or trying to stop it.
No.
It's about understanding it, adapting to it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone, and we'll catch you all next time.
See ya.